All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol NIO, NEO Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all my first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to my channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all my subscribers, welcome back, and let's jump into this chart. So NEO was looking like it was about to go in the other direction, and we're about to look in that in just a moment. But something that I want to point out that I've talked about in all my videos for the last coming weeks and month is that NEO was in a sideways direction all the way until about May, end of May, beginning of June. And I mean, it had some volatility earlier in the year. Beginning of the year, it ran up and then it started to slowly fall and just sideways movement. But something I've noticed in the chart, and it's in this time frame here, all this time, is the fact that every time it ran up, it went sideways for a little bit, almost about a month usually in time, to about a month and a half. It ran up again, and then it did it again for almost a month and a half, and then it did it again. It ran up, it went in sideways movement, and then it ran up, and it did sideways movement again. But this time was the shortest time frame of sideways movement before it actually went up, and it's gone up pretty far this time, further than it did before. I mean, this time going up, it's almost as close as this one, but this one's actually a little bit shorter than what's created here in difference. I mean, this was down at $7 and it went up to 15. Here it's around 21 and we've ran up to almost $30. I mean, right now NEO is hitting new highs, and a lot of analysis are saying, this is probably going to be worth more than where it's at right now. And they're saying all these numbers, which are possible, but it's always good to pay close attention to the behavior of where this is going, because if it's been doing this for months now, I'm expecting this to actually at some point kind of stop this run, not just continue to shoot up, because as quick as it's going up, it can go down. And that's the one thing you need to pay very close attention to this stock overall, because of the fact that this could change quickly. As quickly as it went up, it can change downward. I mean, look at the 50-day moving average, how quickly it's been moving up with it. So I just want everybody to bear that in mind. I'm expecting another, slight dip at some point. Like, I mean, this run can continue. That's great. But at some point for it to dip, let's just say it runs up to this point and it dips and then just sideways movement for some time before the next spike. Because that's what I've seen in the chart for months from now. I'm not saying that it's supposed to happen, but I'm expecting something like this again. And then obviously we saw it here. It actually dipped, people taking profits, uncertainty. And then it ran up again. It went back down due to uncertainty. And then it continued that sideways movement, pretty leveled off, going in this direction till the next spike. And then it did it again. And now it spiked and like that. So it's actually forming over time. It's taking over a month for it to do this, but it's doing that staircase effect, going in a healthy manner. I've been saying that if NEO's numbers are real, NEO's productivity is real, NEO continues to promote and give what investors are expecting, which is a good product, providing these services that they're doing, and they're trying to become a top player in the EV sector when it comes to vehicles. I mean, NEO has great potential to continue to run and hit newer highs. So let's go ahead and zoom in on what's important for tomorrow and what happened today. So I had stated if it broke through support, this could start to hit newer lows. Pay very close attention. Just watch the behavior. Obviously, you have that room between the 50-day moving average way down here and also it breaking through support. I had stated if it broke through it, it's not a big deal, but pay close attention to it. It's very important because support levels are there for a reason. Well, it broke through it for a little bit, but it didn't go too far. It only went down to about 25.79. And that's a good sign of the bulls reappearing or about to reappear, because it was still in bullish territory. The 50-day moving average was probably way down here. And quickly after, the bulls appeared, hit new highs, and leveled this off in a sideways direction. So that was great for the bulls. to come and appear that way. And let's go ahead and see what's important for tomorrow. This support is created here above the resistance level as well. So that is showing a good sign of the bulls trying to dominate this. And I'm going to look at this from a more narrow perspective, actually. Let's zoom this in here at one of the resistance levels before this fall. And then we're going to talk about the highest points and zoom in on what's important there. And then I want us to look at the lowest point here, which is pretty close to the 50-day moving average. This changes things a little bit. This isn't the same support that we talked about yesterday. This is actually a support level that is a little bit more concerning and important to pay close attention to, due to the fact that it's really close to the 50-day moving average. So right now, if this was to break through this support, I want to talk about the broader numbers first. And the first support level to keep in mind after that, below the 50-day moving average, is 2580. I'd write that number down. That number is important, 2580. That is the support level. That means that this is going to hit newer lows, get further away from the 50-day moving average, and is deeper in bearish territory. Now, for the bulls, this is the most important number in this whole entire chart for the last months, even for the year right now, 2923. That number is so important due to the fact that the bulls have had a wild run, and this is the highest point that the bulls have reached. So this is an important number to keep in mind, way up there at $29 and some change. But let's look at what's important before even getting to these other numbers. So for the bulls to continue the run, they have to break through resistance, 2868. They need to turn this resistance into a support so they can break away from it in an upward direction, moving further away from the 50-day moving average in an upward direction. They need to. This isn't like, oh, the bulls can just hang out, kind of move in a sideways direction and they'll be fine. They have to break through this resistance level, 2868, turn it into a support so they can break away and hit newer highs. They have to. I want to emphasize that, because if this was to move sideways and the bulls are just kind of hanging out, well, this 50-day moving average is going to continue to move and catch up to the price to the point that it actually broke through it, and they ended up in this direction, giving leverage to the bears, and the bears can start to take over. So super important to keep that in mind, that the bulls have to break through this resistance level, turn it into a support, and break through 2868. Now, the 50-day moving average is important so that we can keep it in mind. This is really close to support right now, and it is 2658. I'd write that number down. That lets us know on what side of the chart we're in. Are we in bullish territory? Are we in bearish territory? And right now, we are slightly above in bullish territory, and the bulls need to continue to work their way up further away from the 50-day moving average in an upward direction to continue this momentum. Now, on the other hand, we have what the bears want. This is the lowest point reached after slightly dipping and before this leveling off of the bulls reappearing, and that is 2678. The bears are going to try to break through this. So I want to emphasize to all investors, if 2678 does get broken through, you have to pay close attention to what's going on with this stock. How quickly is it moving to newer lows? Who is dominating the chart? Is it actually kind of breaking through? And there's a really small window between the 50-day moving average and the support. How quickly did it hit newer lows? Did it end up in bearish territory? Or is it moving sideways? And are the bulls trying to reappear to bring this one back up? Because that's another indicator as well. But I want to emphasize a lot and big time today that if support gets broken through, this will be very close. There's a high chance of it ending up in bearish territory and probably hitting newer lows. So pay very close attention to 2678. How is this behaving? How quickly is this moving down? And the reason why I say there's a high chance is because there's a very small window between 2658 and 2678. That's 20-cent difference. All it takes is for the bears to tear through 20 more cents and get into bearish territory. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to stay in bearish territory, because the bulls can actually take advantage of the price and bring this one back up. That's why I emphasize pay very close attention to how it's reacting if it breaks through 26.78 and how quickly is it moving down, because even if it breaks through the 50-day moving average, that's a 20-cent difference, and let's say it goes 10 more cents down, or it goes even as low as yesterday's low, which I talked about at 25.80, and then for some reason the bulls reappear, they have a small window to actually break through. So it's not like it's going to be very difficult for the bulls to actually come back in and get this over the bullish territory. But you have to pay very close attention to how this stock is reacting and who is dominating the chart, because from way up here brought down to this support and breaking through the 50-day moving average, that is just a sign that the bears are taking over, and this could be on its way down to newer lows and newer support levels, especially with the volatility of it going up. I had stated yesterday as well that if this was to break through support, right, yesterday's support fairly quickly and hitting newer lows, right, then that would be a bad sign of this not being a healthy bullish run. But now it's looking pretty healthy, and the biggest thing that's going to stand out is, could the bulls continue the run and break through 28.68 and hit newer highs? Or even if it hangs out sideways, that it doesn't go below this support, meaning that the bulls and the bears are having a tug of war, and then it's going in a sideways direction, but it's not quickly going back down from where it started way back here at $21. Because that could be a sign of, okay, this bullish run was great, but now there's profit taking, uncertainty, fear. This bullish run was just a run for the hype and the moment, and now people are just going to walk out and there's less investors. The point of investing in a company, especially when things are bullish like this, is because of the fact that there is something good happening. The company is going to perform as expected, and investors are willing to take the chance to invest in a company that they know is going to return them more money than what they gave them. But we're going to have to pay close attention to these indicators tomorrow to see who wins this tug of war. Pay very close attention if it breaks through support. And again, the bulls have to break through resistance. They have to, so that this can start to reach newer highs and newer resistance levels. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Share this with your friends and community. And don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.